we like this one because it does really well even when it gets rained on. If it gets a hard top, you can take a dead blow mallet to it and break it up again. It might lose a little color because of the sun if you leave it in the sun, but the goats eat it regardless, even after it got wet and dries back out with the sun on it. So just seems to do really good with them, and they like it, and it's higher quality, so they're not going to eat a whole bunch of it always. So they'll eat a whole bunch of it at first, kind of level out, and then slow down on their consumption. Are not readily available within what they eat, especially if you're on a non-pasture environment. They're definitely going to need some kind of minerals if you're not feeding any grain or anything like that. But it's good to always give them loose mineral because they can eat more of it versus sitting there for hours at a block licking versus going and actually eating things and clearing pastures and doing what they're supposed to do. We don't want them standing at a block for 2 hours licking on it and fighting over it and then end up breaking each other's legs over a salt block. A man and his goats and his mineral. There's Ruby. They're not very impressed right now with our offerings.
What's going on, y'all? It's Nick and Tyler with Bear Family Farms. Today, I wanted to put a quick little video together while we're out here checking on one of the breeding groups about how important it is to have free choice mineral out at all times for all of your goats. You can see here on the ground, we staged this bag for the goats. We use Sweet Licks Meat Maker during breeding times. One of the first things I want to start off by saying is we are not nutritionists by any means. So with that being said, this video is based off of our experiences raising these animals and a little bit of research we did while making this video. The best starting point for anybody to have most accurate information on what mineral ratios they should have would be to conduct a soil test on the pastures that you're running goats in. This will tell you kind of what is in the soil and what the soil is lacking. So the essential minerals are broken up into two different groups. We have macro and micro. Macro, main ones are going to be calcium, which is essential for bone growth. And I'm going to run through these kind of quickly. I'm not going to go too in depth with them. Just want to throw them out there for you guys. We have phosphorus, which is important to lactating nannies and growing kids. One thing to remember with that is good to maintain a 2-to-1 calcium phosphorus ratio. If you get closer to the other way around, it could lead to things such as urinary caculi in males and milk fever in nannies. But something to remember, when nannies are in milk, they are exerting a lot of calcium to those kids in that milk. So something to remember, 2-to-1. Salt is another important one. Very important that they take in salt, especially when it's hot. Makes them take in water, keeps them hydrated, and also in the cold. When you think, just like humans, sometimes you don't drink enough water when it's cold because you're not hot, you're not sweating, and just like us, they can get dehydrated. Another one is sulfur, which is needed, very important in the rumen to produce and build protein. So very important in that rumen for a healthy rumen. Sulfur. Magnesium, which is important for skeletal and development of muscular and nervous system and enzyme system functions. So another magnesium is important is whenever you're going from winter to spring and things are getting green, this helps them prevent what's called a disease called grass tinny. So another reason why minerals, a very common theme here, minerals are preventing a lot of diseases and keeping things healthy in these goats. Quickly here, we'll run through these micros. We have iron, which is required for oxygen transport. Copper, which is essential for red blood cells and hair growth. And it is the connective tissue and enzyme, serves as connective tissue and enzymes, as well as immune system functions. Lack of either of the above can cause anemia, And anemia in either can obviously be more susceptible to sickness. So low copper can cause anemia. I'm sure you guys have seen that before. Iodine, they need that to produce hormones that help regulate the body. So very important for reproductive and breeding times. Also, we have selenium, which is also important when it comes to reproduction and breeding times. And it also affects how effectively they metabolize copper, mercury, sulfur, vitamin E. Also, if deficient enough, they can cause slow growing kids and kids not being able to suckle effectively on dams. So maybe you've seen that. A kid not being able to grab onto that tit is also known, can be a sign of selenium deficiency. Also, we have zinc, which is required by the immune system, and skin growth deficiency can cause hair loss, thick, dry patches of skin, skin lesions, and swollen feet. So if you see any signs of those, your goats might be zinc deficient. For the second part of this video, or for the ending of this video, I just wanted to fly over here with the drone, show some of the wheat that we put in the ground. We did a light till over the ground just because it's been so dry and the ground is pretty rock hard in a lot of areas. So a lot of the seed that we were planning on broadcasting wasn't going to be able to get really covered up by much dirt because it was so hard. Here you see we got Beth and a pup in training here getting freaked out by the drone. They're not happy about it. They think it's some kind of bird of prey. Okay, now we're going back over here to the right there. You can see how low that pond is in the stock tank. But we went ahead and did a light tail over a couple of different little areas and dusted some of this wheat into the ground, hoping that we get some rain. It does look like we might get some rain. We do have some in the forecast for the next coming days here, the next week or so. So hopefully it gets some moisture on it, and this will be some good pasture come November time, December, and then once that first frost hits, it'll go dormant for a little bit, and then in March the goats will be able to graze it a little bit before those first springtime grasses come up and warm season grasses start coming up. But we did a little tractor work in here too. We had a lot of piles that were spread out, and uh, we tried to get them all in bigger piles. So I think we turned in like 15 piles or so into like 5 big piles. So hopefully we can get those burned with this next rain and get some more of these mesquites cut out and sprayed down and just leave all the good trees back and let the goats control the rest now that uh, they took care of a lot of the other stuff. And all these fields, we have broadcast a lot of rye in the past year, so it's going to be a good mixture of rye as well as wheat. So that rye is going to come back real good as it has in the past, and then that wheat's also going to complement that stuff. So we should have some pretty good forage for those nannies when they have their kids um, around the home property. Still a lot of work to go.